Okay, this is the beginning of the walk cycle tutorial. I'm going to bring in my artwork, which I already did in my previous lesson. Remember, you have to do import as, composition, retain layer sizes. Let me make this window a little bit bigger. This is probably what you're going to see on your computers. There's my artwork, import as, composition, retain layer sizes. Click open, double click on my sequence to open it up. There we go. I'm going to add a solid to the background just so I can see him a little better. Shape layer. I don't know why I did shape. I don't want a shape. I'm sorry. I want a solid. Layer, new, solid. Let's do light blue. And remember, whatever layer's on top is the top layer. Okay, so first off, I'm going to set my anchor points. Then I'm going to do the parenting. So I'm just hiding everything. My shoe, I'm going to put the anchor point where the bend will be with the ankle. Remember, use your pan behind tool right here. If you hold down Command or Control, you can snap it to a certain spot. I'm going to say right about, let's try right here. And I'm going to press R for rotate to see what that looks like. That's looking pretty decent. I have to continuously rasterize this because it's an Illustrator file. If you're not seeing that, here's my modes. Toggle switches and modes, you just click that. Here's my switches. And this gear is continuously rasterized. That shoe's good. Now my calf. I'm going to put the shoe above the calf. See, now the sock is looking right. See right there? The sock is going over the shoe. Put the shoe on top in my layer stack, and we're all good. Move this down to here. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, now let me zoom out a little bit. My calf, or I should say, yeah, this is the calf right here. Let me check my shoe again one more time. Yeah, my anchor point's good. My calf, I'm going to want the join to be, I should say, the anchor point. I'm holding down Command. I've still got my pan behind tool right here, roughly the middle of where this invisible circle is. There's my pan behind tool for moving the anchor point. When you want to move your layers around, use your layer select. Right now, my thigh, I'm going to want the anchor point. I'm holding down Command to snap it. Basically, in the center of this circle should be pretty good. Okay. Now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. My foot, right here, the shoe, is going to be parented to the calf. The calf is going to be parented to the thigh. So you work your way up. Shoe is parented to the calf is parented to the thigh. So if I hit R for rotate, that whole leg moves together. But I can now bend the individual pieces as I need to get the motion that I want. So I'm going to go to my calf, and now that's bending properly. Okay? All that's going to work. I'm going to hide these. Here's my back. This is my front shoe. I'm going to do the same thing. My pan behind, put the anchor point basically right there. My front calf, same deal. I'm going to put that right near the center, right about there. And I have to put my shoe above my calf. See right there? Now you're seeing the shoe. Looks like the foot is inside the shoe. And lastly, my thigh. Holding down Command. I'm going to not hold down Command, snap it basically right around there. Okay, same thing. Shoe, parented to the calf. Calf, parented to the thigh. Let's zoom out and test that out. I'm going to rotate my thigh. That's looking good. Now, I've got the bottom half of my character anchor point set and parented properly. I'm going to turn on the hips. I'm going to put those below the torso. My thighs will both be parented to the hips. So I'm going to do that now. And then my hips anchor point, I'm going to just put basically at the middle, near the top. Say right about there. Now let's look at our torso. I'm going to put the torso anchor point, at the bottom middle right there. I'm going to parent my hips to the torso. Now everything's moving there. Move the neck up. I was going to separate the hand out, but I didn't do that, so that's fine. There's my forearm. Forearm's going above the shoulder. My shoulder will be parented to the torso. The arm will be parented, the forearm's going to be parented to the shoulder. And I need to duplicate this now because there was no back arm drawn. So I'm going to hit Command D in my timeline. And I'm going to hit Enter to rename it. I'll call this B for back. And I'm going to put it below my torso. Go do the same thing for my forearm. Control D, move it below the torso, hit Enter to rename it, and I'll call this B. I should have moved the anchor points first, but hey, can't win them all. So I'm going to hide my torso, and I'm going to hide my back arms and work on the front arms. My shoulder, I'm going to want the anchor point right there. Right around the middle of this imaginary circle. My forearm, I'm going to want the anchor point right around the middle of this imaginary circle right there. I'm happy with those. I'm going to parent my lower arm to the shoulder. Okay, that's good. My shoulder is parented to the torso. Fine. Here's my back shoulder. That's parented to the torso. Good. I'm going to move this up to there. Turn on my forearm. Move that up to there. Good. That's parented. All right, fine. Turn the torso back on. My top shoulder. And you'll also notice that these arms should be below the legs as well. So let me hide the front ones. Watch what happens if I put my arms in the wrong order. See, you can see my hand there? It needs to be below the leg. So I have it just above my back leg. It's below the front leg, which is what would happen. My front leg would be above the back arm. Layer stack is important. All right, here's my head. I should say the neck. Now, rather than hide all these layers, I can just click right here, the solo button. Click that once. Now I can see my neck. I'm going to put this, holding down Control to snap it. I click there to turn off my solo. My neck will be parented to the torso. Next, I'm going to put on the skin for my head. Hide the neck. Let's see the head. I've got my eye and all that on here. Don't really want that, but I could split that out later. The head is parented to the neck. The hair will be parented to the head. And the hair in the back will be parented to the head. Now let's test that out. I'm going to hit save. Okay. Walk cycle time, my back legs. Hit R for rotate. I'm going to move my back leg back. My front thigh, I'm going to rotate that forward. Like such. I'm just going to do this quick and dirty. When your back leg, let's say your front leg is forward, that means your back arm is forward. So I'm going to hit R for rotate on my back arm. Why am I not seeing that arm? I'm going to undo that rotation. Should be parented to there. If I rotate it, okay, good. Now let's unparent that. All right, good. I just must have missed that when I was duplicating the layer. Now let's see, my front arm, the shoulder should be back because my front leg is forward. All right, there we have it. That's our basic pose. So I'm going to hit R for rotate there, R for the thigh, R for the shoulder, and R for the thigh. That's the 4 parts we moved. We moved the shoulders and the thighs. So I'm going to click my stopwatches, and I'm going to just go by half a second for this. Just, you know, a nice even number. I'm going to click my stopwatches again. Go forward one more, same amount of time, half a second. Click my stopwatches. Okay. All 3 of these poses are the same. My first pose and my last pose need to match, which they do because I didn't make any changes. The middle pose, I flip. So my front shoulder is back. In the middle pose, it'll be forward. My back shoulder will now go backwards. Now my thighs. This thigh is forward, so it's going to go backwards. And the other thigh will go forwards now. So now we've got our basic, most basic walk cycle you could ever imagine. Works like this. Okay? That's the super basic walk cycle. So now we're going to kick it up a notch. Let's try the torso. I'm going to turn off my uniform scale right there. On the down, right here, this in between, I'm going to shrink it a little bit. Just tiny, tiny bit. And on the up, I'm going to make it a little taller. Try that out. 2. Down. We'll see how that looks. So we got a little bit of up and down as they're moving. All right. Now let's see the head. I'm going to hit R for rotate. And I'm going to put in an expression here just for the fun of it. I'm going to hold down Alt or Option while I click on that stopwatch. We're doing expressions next week. So whenever you want to add an expression, just hold down Alt or Option as you click a stopwatch. I'm going to give it a basic wiggle. And to auto-complete it, I double-click here. First number is times per second. I'll say twice a second, why not? Comma, and an amount, let's say 20. Now, if I click out of the expression and I hit the spacebar, see now I've got a little bit of a head bobble while I walk. If I say, oh, that's too severe, okay, I'll just change the numbers, make it lower. 1 time a second, an amount of 10. I've got to click out of my expression field. Now let's see what that looks like. That's a bit better. Okay. That is a basic walk cycle. We can do another of the 12 principles of animation called follow through and overlapping action. And what's going to happen is we're going to start working on the calves and the forearms with this. So as the arms swing, the forearms are going to swing a little bit lower because the shoulder is what's driving the action. And the further away you get from it, the more the motion is going to be delayed. So if I go here, and I'm going to hit U to hide my keyframes. Let's go to our first shoulder right here. I'm going to go to my first arm, and I'm going to rotate the forearm a little bit so it's not so rigid. Click my keyframe. Now here's the swing through. I'm going to go a little bit past it and carry the arm forward a little bit more. So what I've done there is my timing's off and it's rotating a little bit past that timing. That subtle little bit of extra motion. Let me do a little bit more of a swing. If I had this hand separated, the hand would trail behind the forearm. So I'm going to copy this first keyframe and paste it right here. Click my empty diamond, paste it into it. And we've got a little bit more life to that front arm. So I'm going to do the same to the back arm. This arm is in the front, so I'm going to go frame forward, drag that up a little bit more, like there. Then right here on the back, I'm going to go a little bit past the back, swing the arm a little bit away from it, and then right here, copy that just there. Now I've got a little bit of sway to my arms. I'm going to do that same exact thing to my calves. They are, hide those. Let's start with my front leg. Right here. There's my thigh. There's my calf. When my leg is forward, keep that there for now. Then when it's back, I'm going to rotate the calf back a little bit. Then when it comes back down, like that. And I'll do the same to the other leg. A little bit that way. Set it to 0 here. And then copy the same right there. That's a little bit better. Now I'm going to work on my shoes. Just try tilting my foot. And let's not work too much with the angle of this drawing. What I can do, is this that back shoe? Okay, so what I'll do is here, I'll tilt my shoe a little bit more. As it's coming down. at the cross through, it should be flat. It should be flat there. That's a given. Have it pointing up so the heel's coming down. As we're going into it, the heel is going in that direction. That's a little better. So here, I'll copy this first keyframe, paste it. I'm going to need to have this leg come up a little bit. So I'm going to hit R. I'm going to rotate that some more. That's a bit better. So I'm going to copy that. Like that, so I loop it. That's looking better. I'm going to do the same thing to the other leg. I might need to have, when it comes up like that, rotate it some more so that the foot has some clearance. So first I'm going to go here. That'll be at 0. Good. And then when it's forward, I'm going to put the shoe pointing up a little bit. Okay. As it's coming back, I'm going to point it towards the ground. Now here is where I'm going to want to raise my calf a little bit. There's the cross through again. I'm going to set it to 0 for the shoe. That's a little bit better. A little bit too much of a bobble because I went too extreme with the torso. So it's at U. Instead of 102, let's go 101. And then here, I'll go 99. And here, I'll go 101 again. A little bit better. So that's kicking up the walk cycle a little bit more. I'm going to hit U to show all my keyframes with none of my layers selected. I'm going to ease all these. I did a box select by clicking outside, holding down the left key and dragging, hovering over. I'm holding down the control key because this mouse does not have a right click. If you've got a right click, you can right click. Otherwise, hold down control or command, go to keyframe assistant, easy ease. I'm going to hit U. Now I'm going to add a little bit of turbulent displace to that hair. Like I showed you with the balloon example. So I'm going to go to turbulent displace, put it on the hair. This is too extreme. You can see the hair started leaving the head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an expression on the evolution just because I'm feeling lazy tonight. So I hold down Alt or Option. Remember, anything with a stopwatch can be keyframe animated, and a lot of times you can put an expression in it as well if you want. So I'm going to put a wiggle in there. No, I'm not. I'm a liar. I'm going to do time, then an asterisk. Time, let's do 125. So that's saying this will constantly be evolving. Just watch the hair. So a little bit of bobble to it. I'm going to up the amount some more. See, now the hair is moving a bit more. Let's see the offset. Let's do right about. Let's try an expression in the offset. I'm going to hold down Alt or Option, click on the offset, and we'll try the time expression there. Time, asterisk, let's try 100. Click out of it. Nope. Okay, so I can't do that. Let's try wiggle. Let's say 3 times a second in an amount of 20. See what that looks like. Watching the hair. That's a little bit better. The hair's got a little bit of motion to it. Let's see. Let's try twist. No, let's try turbulent smoother. Now it looks like it's leaving the head. Try horizontal displacement. That's a little better. I'm going to have it go a little less for the amount. So it's starting to leave the head. There we go. All right. Happy with that. And I'm going to copy this. See if it keeps all my expressions. I'm going to paste onto the back of the head, and it kept my expressions. That's a pretty neat thing I did. Copy and paste. And look right there, you can see the hair have a little bit of sway to it. Not bad. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. I'm going to send this file to the class after class night. Now, the head. I'm going to hit the eyeball icon to show it. I want that eyeball out of the head, but it's an Illustrator layer. What do? I right click on it. So if you got a mouse with the right click, you right click. And if not, in the lab, you hold down the control key. When you click, go to create shapes from vector. And let's say I want to shy this. I click the shy icon here, and then up here I enable shy, and now that layer is hidden, out of sight. Just make sure you hide it first before you shy it. Same thing with audio. If you want to shy some audio, make sure you click the speaker to turn it off. All right, enough of that side rant. Let's see what we got here. That's the mouth. I'm hitting the enter key to rename things. This is the eyebrow. This is the eyeball. Here we go. All right, now we can have some fun with the eyeball. Transform. Okay. So what I can do is scale this non-uniformly. Let's zoom in. I'm going to want it to look like it's blinking. So that would be right about here at about 23. Okay. So I'm going to move that forward a few frames, work backwards, make this 100. Copy that forward a little bit. So there's my blink. Now I've got the blink. I can easy ease these by right clicking, holding down the control key, easy ease. Copy them, paste it. Now I've got two blinks happening. Like that. And I can see the hair moving away from the head once I go closer in. The head is rotating a little too much. So I'm going to go back to my head, hit R for rotate. Let's look at that expression. Instead of 8, let's try 7. Lower a little bit, click out of it. That's a bit better. And then the hair is just moving a bit extreme, so I would just fine tune that. But that's just showing a little bit of follow through, overlapping action, and a little bit of expressions to kick this up from that walk cycle we started off with. All right, anyone have anything they want to show me in lab or no? Or do you want me to do the screen record of the separate dimensions? So we've got that with the balloon. Nice. Okay. Wait, let me take a look at this. 1 second. And then once I see what they're talking about, I'll screen. Okay. Oh, all right. So you want to be more progressive, right? Yeah, I just drew with it. So I did like I like it. All right. So here's the lab time question. Making a crescent in After Effects.
Probably easier.
You know what? Watch this and you'll see. You can be the judge of that. I'm going to save it inside here. So I'm going to make a new composition. I'm going to call it Crescent. I never create. No, I'm just joking.
No, like you go to file, new project, and save a new project.
No. New project is what you work on, like homework 1. New composition. See, inside this walk cycle, I've got the walk cycle and then Crescent. New, it's different scenes. Exactly. Think of it that way. So this is a new scene in the same file. Great question. I like that. Okay, so here we go. Only on days that end in Y. Okay, so you can, okay, we're going to cover this with pre-composing, but I'll show you now. So here's my walk cycle, right? And let's say I want to have the crescent moon in the scene behind him. So here's my crescent moon. I'll make it white. I'll throw a little bit of blue into it because it's a cool night outside like that. All right, here we go. Great. So there's our moon. We're done. No, I'm just kidding. You said you want a crescent, right? So first off, when you use a shape and Bezier path is not clicked on, you will not have the ability to animate that path. I'll show you what I mean. So here's my first one. I'm going to click on the tool again and click on Bezier path. Now remember, if you left click and hold down, that's how you get your other shapes. This one has Bezier path clicked on. So now I'm going to make another circle. And when I twirl down here, I have a path because I enabled Bezier path. So you can click that path, go forward in time, grab your selection arrow. And I always hit shift and click so I can, then select one. You can animate your path points. You can also animate your Bezier curve handles. See that change over time? All right, so I'm going to delete this and I'm going to click off of the Bezier path for now. That's the first step. Now we've got two options. We can add some shapes and subtract, or we can draw a mask. I'm going to show you mask. We're going to cover this soon. I'm back on my shape layer. See that? I'm going to zoom in for this because it's so important, so cool. All right, is everyone looking? All right, here we go. Here's my shape tool, right? Everybody see that? Right here. Everyone see that little star? That means it's set to draw a shape. Right here, see it, Chris? Now watch this, see right next to it? This is to draw a mask on a shape layer. I'm going to draw a mask on this moon. So I clicked that mask button. Now when I draw in, I've got this going on. And that's the opposite of what I want. So I just go to my mask. Instead of add, I choose subtract. And look what we've got now. We've got a croissant. I can select that mask and move it around. Let's see, it's probably under the transform. Oops, that's both of them. So let's select the mask, like I said. Here we go, mask path. There's that, and let's click and drag and move you. So if I grab the path points, I've got all the points selected. Now I can use my arrow keys to move it. You want to see something else that's pretty cool? Since we're using a mask, we can feather it if we want. Get a little bit of gradient there. You could also, check this out, you ready? Mask expansion. So I'm going to animate that expansion over time a little bit, if I wanted to. Like that. So anything with the stopwatch, you can keyframe. Just showing you that. I'm going to get rid of that because that wouldn't happen in nature. Like if it was an eclipse, it moved more severely than that. But So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, yes.
All right. And just remember, when I go back up to my shape tool, double check to make sure it's set to shape again, which it is. There's my shapes. There's my masks. All right. That's the first question. I'm going to hide that, and I'm going to expand on that. So that's what lab time's all about. I've got a square, sort of a square. All right. I want everyone to watch for just 1 second. If I deselect, I can do that by doing Command-Shift-A. We're just clicking off. And I draw another rectangle. I've got 2 shapes. All right, I'm gonna hit undo. If I do not deselect before I draw my next shape, that second shape goes inside the first one. Everybody see how that happened? So I've got rectangle 1, rectangle 2. You might go, that's what I want. It's not what I want. If you go add, merge paths, you can now do stuff like, let's see, intersect, let's try exclude intersections. Let me delete that and say, let's try adding it in here. There we go. See what's going on now? Like that, boom. I put the merge paths inside the shape that contains them all. That's how I got it to work. It wasn't selecting one of the individual rectangles inside of it in the contents, it was the actual shape layer, okay? So I selected that, went add, did my merge paths. Now let's kick it up a notch because that's what lab time's all about. Let's see if we put offset paths into this. There we go, that's working. So now we can, look at this. You can offset that inside of it as well and animate that like such. I'm going to delete the offset path. All right, spectacular. I'll call this merge paths so you can remember what that was. And here's my croissant moon. Got it. All right, perfect. I'll just email these out once lab's done. Indeed. Anyone else have any other questions? While we're at it, I'm going to go layer, new, solid. I'll call this sky. I'm going to put it behind. Oh, I almost forgot. Let me turn off the sky. Okay, no one reminded me. Here we go. Here's my walk cycle. All right. And you're going to see over here, I've got my crescent moon and my walk cycle, okay? I can take this crescent moon composition, put it behind my character, set it in my scene where I want it, scale it down a little bit in the background, like such. Everybody see that? That's an example of nesting. The walk cycle is its own composition. Inside that composition is another composition. I could go inside here, sky. I could make a composition inside of this composition, like Russian nesting dolls. So I could do that by right-clicking on that layer or holding down Control and clicking and choose Pre-Compose. That's how you get there. And I'll call this Sky PC for Pre-Comp. This is important. You got to click Move All Attributes. It's not done by default, but so now I can go click in here. Here's my sky, and I can start looking for stuff like simulation, CC Starburst. What that's gonna look like? Oh, here we go. Check that out, Sam. That's CC Starburst. So it's already got the scatter in it. Now check this out. Well, wait. Watch this. That's a bit intense for what you want, right? But check this out. Speed. Let's try 5. Whoa. Yeah, that was more. That's weird. Oh, that's 1.0. Let's try 0.25. Now it's going a little slower. Let's try. We'll try that. So we'll do 0.001. Now they're not moving. Okay. So what we could also try is, let's hit the U key and see if there's any keyframes here. Nope. Okay, so that does that. Phase. What's phase do? Phase was moving it. Size is what's doing that. Let's try scatter. Don't want that. That's what's going to make them move around. Okay. I will try... Well, let's try... I can animate a glow. But it's going to glow all of them. Let's try our threshold first. CC Starburst. And there's... And sometimes there's stuff hidden under generate as well, but I think there was a backgrounds thing they used to have. Maybe it's under obsolete. What we could try is... I can't think of an easy way to make some of these shimmer without the rest of them doing it because of how this was generated. But, you could do it with masks, like, you know, having them fade with an expression. That might work. Reduce interlace flicker. Let's see what that's going to do. Nope. Well, at least we figured out the sky thing pretty quickly for you. There's also a Starburst spin. I wonder what that's going to look like. Oh, that's interesting. Undo. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording there if anyone else has any other questions. All right, glad you like it. So that's a little overview of pre-composing and nesting. This sky is pre-composed and nested inside the moon. See that? And then this moon with the sky nested inside it is pre-composed into this scene. You look what happened when I shrunk it down, the stars aren't filling the scene. So that's just another thing you got to watch out for when you're doing it. All right. Good times. Hit save. I'm going to stop the recording, then email these out to everybody.